As someone who grew up in southern Indiana, I've always been fascinated by the history and stories surrounding the French Lick Springs Resort. Living just a short drive away, I visited the hotel and casino many times, and each time I felt something uniquely eerie about the place. It's not just the grand architecture or the luxury, it's the feeling that the walls hold secrets, a mix of intrigue and mystery that you can't quite shake. The hotel has always had a presence about it, and that's what drew me to dive deeper into its captivating and sometimes dark history.
This is Weird Wild Stories, and I discuss things that are strange, mysterious, and creepy. If you like that sort of thing, then please subscribe or follow me. I have a lot of creepy videos for you to binge, and many more to come in the future. Like this video, leave me a comment and share it with a friend if you enjoy it. That really helps out a small channel.
French Lick Springs Resort, Indiana, a deep dive. Nestled in the rolling hills of southern Indiana, French Lick Springs Resort boasts a long, colorful, and sometimes eerie history. Established in 1845, this iconic hotel has seen its share of elite visitors, infamous criminals, and curious legends. From its luxurious beginnings to its storied associations with Prohibition-era gangsters, miracle waters, and tales of the supernatural, the French Lick Springs Resort is more than just a destination. It's a living piece of American history. The origins of French Lick Springs Resort. The resort's beginnings date back to the mid-19th century, when mineral springs were a popular draw for those seeking cures for ailments. Native American tribes originally discovered the springs, and the area became known for its sulfur-rich water, believed to have healing properties. The French Lick Springs Hotel capitalized on this natural resource and became one of the country's most popular health resorts, drawing visitors from across the United States. In the early 1900s, the hotel expanded under the ownership of entrepreneur Thomas Taggart, who transformed it into a luxurious retreat. Taggart, a prominent figure in Indiana politics and later a U.S. senator, understood the allure of the mineral springs. He also capitalized on the burgeoning belief that the springs could cure anything from rheumatism to stomach ailments. Pluto Water, the miracle cure. One of the most enduring legends surrounding the French Lick Springs Resort is the story of Pluto Water, named after the Roman god of the underworld. The springs at French Lick contained a unique blend of minerals, including sodium and magnesium sulfate, which had a strong laxative effect. While today, this might not sound particularly glamorous, at the time, this was marketed as a near-magical elixir that could cleanse the body of impurities and provide renewed vitality. Pluto Water was bottled and sold nationwide, and it quickly gained a reputation as a sort of fountain of youth. People believed it could cure a wide range of diseases, from indigestion to liver problems. The slogan, "When nature won't, Pluto will," became famous, emphasizing the water's supposed powers to restore health. The bottle's design featured an image of Pluto, holding a pitchfork and standing guard over his domain. The association with Pluto, the god of the underworld, was intentional. It invoked imagery of bringing things from the depths of the earth to heal the human body. However, despite its popularity, Pluto Water was eventually banned in the 1970s due to its high lithium content, which led to significant health concerns. The creepy statue of Pluto. One of the most striking and mysterious elements of the French Lick Springs Resort is the statue of Pluto that stands in the hotel. Pluto, often depicted as the god of the underworld, is shown with a stern expression, a reminder of his dominion over death and the afterlife. While the statue might seem like a quirky nod to the resort's history with the water, many find its presence unsettling. Pluto's connection to death and the underworld gives the statue an aura of morbidity, standing at odds with the otherwise elegant and refined surroundings of the resort. Some visitors have even reported feeling uneasy around the statue, attributing an eerie energy to it. The statue of Pluto has become part of the resort's folklore, adding to its mysterious and somewhat dark history. French Lick and Al Capone. Like many upscale resorts of the early 20th century, French Lick Springs Resort was a magnet for wealthy patrons, politicians, and gangsters. During the 1920s and 1930s, when Prohibition was in full swing, illegal activities flourished, and French Lick became a favored hideout for mobsters. One of the most notorious visitors was none other than Al Capone. During the 1920s and early 1930s, when Prohibition was in full swing, Capone needed discreet and secure locations to conduct business and evade law enforcement. The French Lick Springs Resort, tucked away in rural Indiana, provided just that, a luxurious yet secluded location where Capone and his gang could meet in private, away from prying eyes. At the time, French Lick was a glamorous resort, attracting the rich, famous, and infamous alike. French Lick was known for its underground gambling scene, an activity that drew gangsters like Capone. Although gambling was technically illegal in Indiana at the time, it was a poorly kept secret that it flourished behind closed doors. The hotel had an underground network of hidden casinos, card rooms, and speakeasies where visitors could gamble and drink without fear of being raided by the authorities. Capone, who was heavily involved in illegal gambling and bootlegging, is said to have used these hidden venues to conduct business and enjoy himself in relative peace. French Lick as a meeting spot for mobsters. Capone's visits to French Lick were not solely for recreation. The resort was a popular meeting point for mobsters from different regions, where they could discuss business, broker deals, and plan their next moves. It was not uncommon for gangsters like Capone to hold secret meetings at upscale resorts, such as French Lick, where they could negotiate turf agreements, gambling rights, or bootlegging operations. While it is difficult to pin down exact dates or records of Capone's presence at the resort, local legends maintain that he visited French Lick on several occasions, using it as a safe house and a place to meet other crime bosses. There were whispers that the resort staff knew of Capone's presence and turned a blind eye to his activities, fearing retribution or wanting to maintain the hotel's high-end clientele. Al Capone's favorite suite. One of the most enduring legends about Capone's time at French Lick is that he had a particular suite he always stayed in. This suite was supposedly located in a secluded part of the hotel, offering privacy and a quick escape route if necessary. Stories have circulated that the suite was outfitted with secret compartments, hidden doors, and even a tunnel that led outside of the hotel, allowing Capone to slip away if law enforcement or rivals ever got too close. While there is no official confirmation of this tunnel's existence, the tale has become part of the lore of French Lick Springs Resort. Some guests who have stayed in this suite have reported an odd sense of unease, as though they can feel the presence of past visitors, though whether that's Al Capone or one of the hotel's many ghost stories is anyone's guess. Capone's legacy at French Lick. While Capone's time at the French Lick Springs Resort remains shrouded in mystery and legend, his association with the resort has become a part of its enduring appeal. Today, French Lick leans into its history, even its more illicit aspects, to attract curious tourists. Some of the stories about Capone's visits might be embellished, but they contribute to the overall sense that the resort was a hub of glamour, vice, and secrecy during the height of its fame. In addition to the resort's associations with wealth and luxury, Capone's rumored visits give it a more sinister undertone, one that intrigues guests to this day. Some even say that Capone's spirit might still linger in the halls, adding to the already numerous ghost stories associated with French Lick. Whether or not these stories are true, there's no denying that Capone's alleged presence at French Lick adds to the hotel's mystique as a place where the lines between high society, organized crime, and the supernatural blur. The existence of tunnels at French Lick. The tunnels beneath the French Lick Springs Resort are an essential part of the lore surrounding the hotel, adding both a sense of mystery and practical function to the resort's fascinating history. While some tunnels had legitimate purposes related to the operations of the hotel, such as transporting supplies, they are most famously linked to the illicit activities that took place during Prohibition, particularly in connection with Al Capone and other gangsters who visited the resort. The French Lick Springs Resort, like many grand hotels of its time, had a network of underground tunnels. These tunnels were initially built to allow staff to move supplies, laundry, and food without disturbing guests. It also provided a way to access parts of the hotel's infrastructure, such as boilers and heating systems, discreetly and efficiently. However, over time, these tunnels became much more than just utilitarian pathways. As French Lick grew into a hotspot for gambling, drinking, and other illegal activities, particularly during the Prohibition era, 1920-1933, the tunnels took on a new, more clandestine purpose. Al Capone and the tunnels. The most famous story surrounding these tunnels involves Al Capone and other high-profile gangsters who visited French Lick. According to local legend, Capone and his associates used the tunnels to evade law enforcement or rival gangsters. If there was ever a raid, or if Capone felt threatened, the tunnels would allow him and his men to disappear without a trace. Some versions of the story claim that the tunnels connected to nearby buildings or even led out into the surrounding woods, giving Capone an easy escape route. While these claims have not been definitively proven, they persist as part of the hotel's lore. Many visitors today are fascinated by the idea that one of America's most notorious gangsters may have used these secret passageways to carry out his business undetected. The tunnels also allowed for the transportation of illegal alcohol, smuggled into the hotel during Prohibition when French Lick was known for its underground speakeasies and gambling dens. Given Capone's role in bootlegging, it's not hard to imagine that the tunnels facilitated the distribution of alcohol to the resort's high-end clientele, including Capone himself. Tunnels and illegal gambling. During Capone's era, French Lick was known for its gambling operations, which were technically illegal but widely tolerated. It is said that the tunnels connected to various hidden gambling rooms in the resort, where high-stakes card games and roulette tables operated out of sight. These underground tunnels allowed for discretion, ensuring that the games could continue uninterrupted even if law enforcement was in the area. In fact, the French Lick Springs Resort became a magnet for gangsters and wealthy elites alike, many of whom were drawn by the promise of secretive gambling and the safety that the resort's isolation and tunnel system provided. The network of tunnels under French Lick was a crucial part of the resort's appeal to these notorious figures, giving them an escape route should things go wrong. The tunnel's haunted reputation. As with many aspects of the French Lick Springs Resort, the tunnels have also become a focal point for ghost stories. Given their secretive history, it's no surprise that the tunnels are said to be haunted by the spirits of those who used them for less than savory purposes. Guests and employees have reported strange noises, unexplained footsteps, and eerie cold spots in and around the tunnels. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures, or even the ghost of Al Capone himself. Others say that the spirits of gamblers or gangsters who met their end in violent ways still roam the underground corridors. Whether these hauntings are the result of the tunnel's checkered past or simply the power of suggestion, they add yet another layer of intrigue to an already mysterious hotel. Today, the tunnels are a source of fascination for paranormal investigators and thrill-seeking visitors hoping to catch a glimpse of the otherworldly. Hauntings and paranormal activity. French Lick Springs Resort is also known for its ghost stories. Over the years, there have been numerous reports of paranormal activity within the hotel. Many guests claim to have experienced strange occurrences, particularly in the older parts of the building. Some believe that Thomas Taggart himself haunts the hotel. Taggart, who played such a pivotal role in the resort's history, is said to roam the halls, often seen riding an invisible horse through the corridors. Employees and guests have reported the scent of cigar smoke, Taggart's signature habit, wafting through rooms and hallways despite no one smoking. Another ghostly presence often reported is that of a bellhop. Descriptions of the bellhop vary, but many guests have claimed to see a man dressed in an old-fashioned uniform who disappears when approached. The bellhop is said to knock on doors, assist guests, and then vanish without a trace. There are also tales of cold spots, flickering lights, and mysterious footsteps that can be heard when no one is around. The hotel's elegant, old-world charm only adds to the sense of stepping into a bygone era, and perhaps encountering spirits that never quite left. A legacy of mystique. Despite its haunted reputation and curious history, the French Lick Springs Resort remains a beloved and luxurious destination. It continues to attract visitors, not just for its stunning amenities and historic charm, but also for the rich folklore that permeates its walls. French Lick Springs Resort, with its long history, luxurious yet secluded atmosphere, and connections to illicit activity, has become the subject of numerous haunting stories over the years. Many guests and employees have reported eerie experiences, leading to speculation that the resort is haunted by spirits tied to its dark past. Let's dive into some of the most famous hauntings associated with the French Lick Springs Resort. Dr. William Bowles's spirit. The original founder of the French Lick Springs Resort, Dr. William Bowles, is said to still roam the halls of the resort he built in 1845. Bowles, a physician who recognized the healing properties of the local mineral springs, initially opened the resort as a health spa for wealthy patrons seeking the miracle cure of Pluto water. According to legend, Bowles's spirit never left the place he established. Guests and staff alike have reported seeing a man in old-fashioned clothing wandering through the halls, believed to be Bowles. He's often described as appearing near the hotel's original wings, where he oversaw the construction and early days of the resort. Those who have encountered his ghost claim he seems to be surveying the place, as though checking to ensure his legacy is still intact. The elevator. Ghost. One of the most well-known ghost stories at the French Lick Springs Resort involves a woman who is said to haunt the resort's elevators. Multiple guests have reported entering an elevator only to find it moving to floors they did not select, or stopping on a floor where no one is waiting. Some have even claimed to see a woman in an elegant dress inside the elevator, who then disappears as soon as the doors open. It's believed that this spirit could be the ghost of a socialite from the early 1900s who stayed at the resort frequently. Some versions of the story claim she tragically died on the premises, either from illness or by her own hand, and has been haunting the elevators ever since, replaying her last moments in the hotel. The specter of a bellhop. A friendly yet startling presence many visitors have reported is that of a phantom bellhop. This spirit is said to wear a uniform from the early 20th century, complete with a pillbox hat and formal attire. He has been seen pushing luggage carts down the hallway or waiting by the lobby entrance, as if anticipating the arrival of a guest. Guests who encounter the bellhop often note that he doesn't interact with them directly, but seems to be going about his duties, unaware of the modern world around him. Occasionally, he vanishes right before their eyes. Some believe this spirit may have worked at the resort during its boom in the early 1900s, but no one knows for certain who he is or why he remains. Room 336, the Haunted Room. Room 336 at the French Lick Springs Resort has gained a reputation for being particularly haunted. Over the years, several guests who stayed in this room have reported strange occurrences, such as objects moving on their own, lights flickering, and hearing unexplained footsteps in the hallway outside their door. Some have even reported waking up in the middle of the night to see a shadowy figure standing at the foot of their bed. While there is no concrete historical event tied to this room, its reputation continues to grow as one of the most active paranormal spots in the entire hotel. Phantom parties in the ballroom. The resort's ballroom has been the scene of many grand parties and events over the years, and some say those celebrations never truly ended. Several reports claim to hear the sounds of distant music, clinking glasses and muffled voices coming from the ballroom when it's completely empty. Late-night cleaning staff have reported seeing people dressed in formal wear dancing, only for the figures to vanish as they approach. This phenomenon has led some to believe that the spirits of past guests are still enjoying the hotel's lavish gatherings in the afterlife. Al Capone's lingering presence. As mentioned earlier, Al Capone and other mobsters are rumored to have frequented the French Lick Springs Resort during its heyday as a gambling and drinking hotspot. Though Capone's spirit is not commonly reported as being sighted, the overall atmosphere of secrecy and crime during his visits contributes to the stories of haunting. Some believe the ghostly activity in the more secluded areas of the hotel, particularly near the tunnels, is tied to Capone's infamous history. There have been whispered accounts of shadowy figures moving in the underground passageways, where gambling and illicit deals once took place, with some suggesting these could be the spirits of those who met a violent end. At the heart of French Lick's history is Pluto water, the mineral water that was once believed to have healing properties. In honor of the water's namesake, Pluto, the Roman god of the underworld, a statue of Pluto stands in the resort, adding an eerie touch to its already mysterious ambiance. Guests have commented on the unsettling presence of the statue, which some believe has a haunting energy of its own. Some paranormal enthusiasts have speculated that the statue tied to Pluto, a god associated with death and the afterlife, may be a kind of spiritual conduit. Whether it's just the atmosphere or something more, the statue contributes to the feelings of unease reported by many who visit the resort. The connection to Pluto. Water Pluto, water itself, plays a key role in the resort's spooky legacy. This once famous spring water, advertised as a cure-all for various ailments, was thought to have mystical properties. Some say the water, drawn from the mineral-rich springs beneath French Lick, holds a supernatural connection to the land. Visitors who drank the water reported a range of strange side effects, and over time, the lore surrounding the springs grew to include ghostly legends. Unexplained cold spots and apparitions. Throughout the resort, guests frequently report cold spots, unexplained bursts of icy air that many believe signal the presence of spirits. These occurrences often happen in the older parts of the hotel, particularly near the original wings and in the underground areas. Alongside these cold spots, several visitors have claimed to see apparitions, ranging from full-bodied figures in period clothing to fleeting shadowy forms. Conclusion. The French Lick Springs Resort is as famous for its hauntings as it is for its luxury. With a history that includes gangsters, secret tunnels, and grand parties, it's no wonder that guests claim to experience more than just the hotel's historic charm. Whether it's the ghost of Dr. Bowles checking in on his legacy, the spectral socialite lingering in the elevator, or echoes of parties long past, the French Lick Springs Resort seems to be a place where the past continues to live on. For those who are brave enough, a stay at French Lick offers more than just relaxation. It's a glimpse into a world where history and the supernatural intertwine,